Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson have created a wonderful Comedy Central show about two ambitious Detroit ad executives, and in doing so, have put their hometown on the television map. They kept the Detroiters real by filming it here in the city, providing jobs for their fellow Michiganders. You also see Sam in his hysterical role as Richard in the popular HBO series Veep alongside Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Sophia Bush is well known around the world for her acting work in films as well as TV shows One Tree Hill and Chicago PD. But her tireless activism for causes from cancer to human rights is even more impressive. Using her social media platform for positive change, she is helping to make the world a better place. Please welcome the Detroiters Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson and the wonderful Sophia Bush.
Hi. Wow.
Sit here.
Look at this.
Did we lose the other two gentlemen?
Well, we were backstage just talking about how much we love Detroit, and we were slacking on getting mic'd, so we might just need 1 minute for everybody else.
I thought this was part of the comedy bit that, comes on. The Detroiters, late.
No, they're here. They're here.
They are here, okay.
I just got mic'd first. They said ladies first. It was a gentlemanly move.
Sorry.
We were having too much fun.
The funny thing is, we've just been standing back there for a half an hour doing nothing. So at some point you think they might put a mic on, but things work differently. So anyhow, I want to thank you, and Tim will be out here in a second. I want to thank you guys for coming out here. And Sam, by the way, I don't know how many of you guys know, but Sam and Tim, who's remarkably thinner than I thought, Sam and Tim grew up here in Detroit. Sam, where did you hear? Here's Tim.
If anyone was ever wondering how fast an actor could put on a mic, that was it.
But both of you guys grew up here in Detroit, right? Clarkston High School?
Yes, right. That's right.
And what was yours?
Clarkston. The U of D Jesuit.
U of D Jesuit.
Yeah! Bigger reaction.
There's always somebody in the house. And Sophia, you're a Californian.
I am.
Yeah, but yet you have an affinity for Detroit, and in fact, even have a business here, right?
I do.
Which is?
My best friend and I opened a business here on Library Street a year ago today. So we have a 1-year-old baby. It's called Detroit Blows, and it is fully non-toxic and intersectional beauty service salon for women. We want to get a roller set or beach waves or nails done.
Don't understand
Do
a
all
single
the
one
things.
of those things, but they sound good.
They're very, very excellent. So the ladies in the audience.
What made a Californian invest here in Detroit?
Well, as I said, my best friend grew up here, and we met about 10 years ago in the activist space, looking at community engagement and how to impact communities that needed assistance. And we realized that so often when people want to launch companies, they think they should do it in LA or New York. But what about communities like this that are beautiful and full of history, that deserve not only love and pride from the people who are from here, but also the economic love that comes with investment? And so when we wanted to start a business, we wanted to do it here. We wanted this to be our flagship.
Sounds like a good idea to me. We appreciate it. Now, Sam and Tim, when you guys came up with the idea for the Detroiters, was there any moment, where like you met the typical Detroit resistance, that you always get in some way in Hollywood, like, Detroit, we don't have to shoot it there, do we? Because you film the show here.
The full thing we shoot here.
Yeah, they film it actually here. They don't make a fake Detroit in LA and then, have a coney dog or something. So what was that bumpy road like?
Well, when we pitched the show to Comedy Central, we were very much like, it has to be in Detroit. We can't make it false Detroit. We can't replicate Detroit. It has to be filmed there. It's the third character in the show. And surprisingly, Comedy Central was actually very into it.
Yeah, they never really pushed back. There was one point where they were like, well, maybe we'll do interiors in LA, and we're like, nah, we're doing it all there.
No. Yeah, exactly.
And you actually use like a lot of local people. I mean, just rat-a-tat-tat the list of people from Detroit who have made some kind of guest appearance in your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. And also friends who we started doing comedy here in Detroit with, we were like, oh, this is great to bring our friends back home to get to do something here. That's been really cool. Like Mary Beth Monroe and stuff who we did Second City Detroit with, and Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, Mary Beth Monroe, Keegan-Michael Key, Larry Joe Campbell. Mitch was in the
That's right,
Briefly.
Mitch.
Kenny Brown and I played Kenny Brown and I.
a real stretch, but I think
It was
they
a
played
stretch.
it
It was
very
tough.
well.
We needed a
How'd
lot
they
of
do?
takes. I wasn't sure what my character's motivation was. I needed to ask. You even got Jim Harbaugh to be in an episode. I think we have a clip. How many takes did that take?
How many takes did that take?
I can't remember. He was there for a while.
He was there for like the whole... It's because shooting a TV show takes a while. That's
Sure.
not,
No,
that's
that's
not
not
on
a knock
him.
on
That's
Harbaugh.
not on him. But every take was really fun. He really delivered
He was very natural at being mad.
at being mad and screaming.
I wanted to ask you also, Sam, your mother is from Ghana.
From
is that
Ghana,
right?
yeah.
So you had an interesting upbringing. I mean, you know, most kids in Detroit in the summer, they maybe go to Traverse City.
Yeah.
You went to Ghana.
I'd go to West Africa, Ghana, for summers, because my mother was from Ghana, my father's from Detroit. So like for summers, we'd go, back and forth. And my grandfather was ill and passing when I was in the first grade, so I lived there for first and second grade.
Wow.
So
So does that give you a bit of an understanding of what we're doing here tonight a little bit to try to help another country? Because America can be an insular place. We can tend to think like our problems, all the problems of the world begin in New York and end in Los Angeles and all, everything in between. But there's a whole world, many of them, very close to us, like Haiti, that has a whole set of different problems.
Yes, indeed. They're certainly I got a global perspective growing up, being in, and like that, and I say racially, I got a perspective because like living in the States, you are a minority of being a black person, but in Africa, everybody's black for the most part. But then also, there's a huge dichotomy of wealth. The poor are very, very poor. So you think that a small amount of money doesn't mean anything? No, it goes. You can live off of $1 for a month. That's not even a joke. That's real. Why would that be a joke? But like living in Ghana and you see absolute poverty, you want to help by seeing it. So it's a real. So what you're doing in Haiti is an important real thing.
Thank you. So, Sophia, you really interest me because weren't you even at some point, were you the queen of the Pasadena Rose Bowl parade or something like that?
Of all the cool things.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yes.
And I've been to the Pasadena Rose Bowl. That's a big parade, so
Yeah.
that's a big honor. But you have been a model. You've been photographed left and right. You're in a world in Los Angeles where it's very easy to think, as long as I look good, I'm accomplishing everything I need to do. And yet you are an incredible activist. It would take me the rest of the night to tell you all the things that Sophia in her young life has already accomplished, the things that she's gotten involved with on a global scale, the oil spill, and helping, just calling attention to the environment, calling attention to gay rights, all kinds of things. Where does that part of you come from? Because it would be very easy to just say, blow out my hair and I'm done.
Sure. We like to look good while we do good, but really...
Well, some of us accomplish that easier than others.
We want to reduce the amount of time it takes, and I do think I'm very fortunate because I have incredible parents who understand more global perspectives. My dad is an immigrant. My mom's mom came through Ellis Island. My parents understood what the idea of the American dream was, and this idea that you can work hard and achieve your goals. But what does achieving a goal mean if you're not giving back? Because sure, from the outside, it might seem really interesting to, be on TV and be an actor, be writing shows, People are like, it looks so glamorous. I'm like, the Golden Globes look very glamorous. It's one night a year. That's not it. And none of that feels all that meaningful, at least to me, because you don't get to take it with you when you die. What's it all for? Right. And so I think growing up in California, I was born an environmentalist because I grew up in the wilderness and playing in the ocean and understanding how delicate those ecosystems are. And I was also really fortunate to grow up with a dad who's an artist. So back before anybody was really highlighting what intersectionality means, and while I think most white people were very blinded by their own privilege and didn't understand the struggles of communities of color in America, I grew up in LA with artists who were every color and sexual preference under the rainbow. And I remember the first time I heard somebody criticize a classmate because they were gay, and I was like, what's your point? That's awesome. He loves someone, you love someone. I've never understood the barriers to kindness that we seem to have for anyone who doesn't look like us, live like us, worship like us. I think that it's the thing that's the most beautiful about our country. I'm way more interested in a quilt than in a beige duvet. and so when I think about society being textured and different, that's what makes me excited. And what's a platform like this matter if you're not going to do something with it?
Well, we appreciate your helping do something with it here. I'm going to ask each one of our guests, but the one question that's going to run through all of it, because the theme of these books is that one person can affect you even in 5 minutes. So, Tim, is there someone in your life that you can think of who literally changed the path of your life, even if not necessarily being involved with it every day, but who would it be for you?
Yeah, you asked me that earlier. It was such a hard question. There's been so many people who have helped me and that I appreciate so much. But I narrowed it down to my grandma. When I was a real bad student, terrible student. I felt I was not smart and dumb, and I found the second city of Detroit. But I was 16 years old, and I was afraid to drive on the expressway. So my grandma every single day would drive me downtown to take classes, and she'd wait in the parking garage until I was done. And that's what Second City Detroit shaped my life and shaped who I am. And
wow.
And so
if she didn't drive you, you might not be
I
sitting here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's to grandmas. Okay. Yeah.
What a legend.
Driving grandma.
She is a legend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sam, who would it be for you?
Well, I went to U of D Jesuit High School, and it's funny. I went there last minute. I was supposed to. My parents were going to move to Ghana actually and they were like, actually, psych, no, we're not. And I was like, oh, well, I got to go to school. So that's why I ended up going to U of D. I didn't know it was an all boys school. What a surprise.
When did you actually find out it was an all-boys school?
I was talking to my friend Hansa Johnson online on AOL IM, and she was like, oh, good luck with the uniform. I was like, uniform? Oh, annoying. She's like, good luck all boys. I was like, no! But so I went and I was like, I started playing, I started practicing with the football team, and then being a pubescent boy, a bus came to the school, and a bunch of girls got out of the bus, and were like, they're going to play auditions. So I was like, me too then. So I went and I auditioned because I was like, yeah, let's see if I can do. I'm willing to give anything a shot. So I auditioned, and I didn't get it. But Father Torina was at the auditions, and he stopped me. He was like, I think you have a knack for this. You could probably do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then with that, he just took this interest in me. And with that, I really devoted myself to theater and just got really involved. And without him doing that, because he didn't have to say that. Right. Without him doing that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Right. That's for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank him too. Mm-hmm. And Sophia, who would it be for you?
Well, there's so many people here, I can't see her. I mentioned already, my best friend Nia is out there somewhere.
Good luck finding her. We can't see a thing here. Yeah.
But I think I mentioned we met 10 years ago at a conference trying to figure out how, as young women in business, we might be able to better impact the world. And for all the crazy ideas I've had, which are like, let's do a fundraiser to build a school in Guatemala, let's build a well, in northern Ethiopia, let's launch a business that benefits, local communities of women, anything I want to do, she's like, cool, let's do that. And likewise, she's the kind of person who will come to me and say, I have this idea, is it crazy? And I'm like, well, if you're crazy, I'm crazy. Like, let's see what happens. And I think when you have, especially as a woman in the world, which for so long has taught women that other women are your competition, which I really think is a distraction strategy because, hello, we're great at running things when we work in teams. I think to have a friend who is like a sister who would show up for you when you have the worst heartbreak of your life or you lose a family member or something hard, but who also shows up to, ride into battle with a sword drawn with you, and likewise, when you're having a rough night, we'll take you to a dance party. Like, I don't know what more you could ask for, and for me, having a real sisterhood changes how I feel like I can show up in the world.
Great. Well, your grandmother, priest, friend and business partner, I'm sure these are people, if heaven actually works the way I wrote in the book, and by the way, I have not been there. It is not a nonfiction book, so I made up the whole thing. I'm sure those will be people that you meet. I want to thank you for helping us to raise good funds here tonight. Please thank our guests, Tim, Sam, Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very, very much. Great job.
for having
Oh, my pleasure.
Hey, everybody.